What's up, guys? This is gonna be episode number 5 of the breakdown, and I'm joined here by Elazer this time.
Hello, everyone, guys.
Hello, everyone, guys. His name is Miko, and yeah, what is this game, Miko? What are we going into?
Okay, so this is versus Utermal from a tournament that I played like 2 days ago or
Cool.
yesterday. I actually don't remember. It's the Africa Invitational. It's maybe game like 3 or 4, and total it's a best of 7. So it's a pretty important game right now. I think we are like 1-1 in score, maybe.
Okay, this is the what round is
Maybe
it?
I think it's third game right now, and first 2 games were a bit tricky. Like there was like some proxy racks and some stupid stuff. So this is gonna be like the first macro game.
Okay.
So it's pretty important to win it. Yeah,
And this is what round of the tournament?
it's the final, but the invitational works like there's just 4 players invited, and it's just a bracket. So
Cool.
I won the first series, and now it's the final against Utermal best of 7.
Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna put it on your camera and jump right into it.
Okay. Yeah. So overall, I played actually 2 series yesterday against Utermal. One was best of 7, one was best of 5. This best of 7 I won, and the other best of 5 I lost. So
Did you set 6 camera hotkeys just now?
yeah, 8 I think.
8? Come
But
on,
I
Miko.
don't really.
How many do
No,
you
really.
use?
So you set up 8 camera hotkeys
Okay.
because it's pretty important when you're setting up new base locations, for example. So, for example, when you're injecting, obviously you're not gonna use F8 for 8 camera hotkeys. But when you're on 7 base late game and you want to set up base 8, it's very nice to have that hotkey. So you just click one time.
So you set up 8 camera hotkeys and you use 8 camera hotkeys?
Well, just to set up bases. Like I generally use only like 5. Very often, like I use just 5.
Yeah.
And 6, 7, 8, like very rarely, but just for setting up bases at least.
How does it help you set up the base?
Well, you don't have to go with your mouse or to the minimap and
But I imagine you have to take
like the mid game.
So is your
It's faster
can your
because-
finger just reach? Do you use the
Yeah,
thumb?
no problem. Like
Or do you use
no. Oh, to set up the locations?
Not to go to the locations, like F7,
No, it's
F8?
easy. It's like middle finger. Just goes
Middle
to it.
finger, jeez, you have big hands. Yeah, I would have to
No,
take
but
my...
you need to move your hand obviously a little bit, but it's as I say, it's efficient to set up new bases. It's not efficient, I think, to just play. Like let's say defending drops like this. I don't think it's efficient, but just to stop the base, it's very good.
Okay, cool. That is
Yeah,
impressive.
because in mid game, for example, okay, so it's like 16 minutes into the game, and you're like defending harass, you're trying to stop counterattacks, and you're just thinking that you need one more base more. So it's very easy. You just click one button and you're instantly in the location that you want to be.
Yeah, and I think the reason it wouldn't be so good for defending is that there's so many different maps that it would be very difficult to...
Oh yeah, you don't remember which.
Yeah,
which
exactly, which is which. But when you're setting it up, then you're saying...
Yeah, well, you set them up at the start of the game, and it's like natural. You know, you want to set up base 8, so you click F6 and...
Right, cool.
Easy. Okay. So this game, I remember I'm gonna probably fall a bit behind in my opinion, but I'm gonna do a comeback. So I thought this game will be very good.
Don't spoil it. Yeah, it sounds
Oh,
good.
sorry.
But yeah, we have a 16 hatch.
Yeah,
The Q-Lash opener.
Well, it's just efficient.
And
it's
we have a very late pull though. Is this the norm with a Q-Lash?
Oh yeah.
18 pull?
It's just hatch gas pool, yeah. I mean, it's gas pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's standard. It's standard.
So you just make just basically make drones until you can afford other shit, right? So
well, you will see. I mean, the builder will be perfect.
I mean, just up until now. I mean.
Yes. So look at my overlords. They are searching for proxy access right now. Obviously, if I played versus somebody less aggressive, maybe I would send one overlord to the other side of the map. But it's Utermal, so I want to see, like, spot all the close spots for proxy access at least. So if I see proxy access, I'm gonna react differently, obviously. But until I see proxy access, I just do drones.
Sweet. And drone making the gas is, I think, sort of touching on this. It's just a matter of how it lines up, right? That's why you make the
Yeah.
gas before the pool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have to wait a little bit for the pool.
Another thing is, look, for example, when I'm gonna mine gas right now, I'm not gonna take any drones from the minerals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just setting up the new larva to gas because you always want to like the minerals are more important in this matchup in
Right.
the early game, especially that you don't need to rush the Zergling speed really.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, people always did like rush it at 330, so it finished at 330.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually not important because 2 Hellion run by is not really a thing. Like
Yeah.
people were scared of it in the past, but now if they do it, like I have 2 queens, I have 4 Zerglings. He's even if he gets like 4 drones, it's not worth for him to sacrifice 2 Hellions and a Reaper. For
Yeah,
that.
I think a lot of maybe it's good to touch on this opener while you're here, so that people understand why this is perceived a better option here. Because I think it's strictly better than the norm. Like I have I go gasless a lot, and I think that's an alternative.
Mhm.
But this one
Yeah.
is really just better than taking the gas because I think that people before the Legacy of the Void, they were getting the speed to clear the Reaper so that they could take the third.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
in Legacy of the Void, if you wait for speed to take your third, it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
So you have to drop your third earlier. So what people started doing is cutting one queen, right? They would cut one queen to get the
Mhm.
third before the Reaper arrived. But they would still be mining like extra gas. And then your speed finishes, and like you said, you have nothing to do with your links. So if you watch any amount of games, you'll see that you have links and you have speed, but you're actually not doing anything with that speed. And what that means is you could have mined more minerals and had more
Yeah.
better economy earlier, right? And that's what this
Yeah.
build does. It seems a little bit weird. The first time I saw it was Stefano doing it.
Mhm.
He got it from you guys. I guess you guys talk a lot.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think actually we kind of got the same idea around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Stefano was doing something wrong with it.
What was he
Like it
doing
was
wrong?
very similar, but there was some. I think he was making Overlord too early or something like that, so that he
Oh, okay.
didn't have it
Yeah, I mean
perfectly
conceptually, it's
figured out.
the same idea,
Yeah.
right? Like taking the gas, putting drones on gas, but not prioritizing, and then when your expansion is
Yeah.
done, you transfer drones to the minerals, so to continue to prioritize the minerals. So essentially, what the gas does is it's a placeholder so that you don't oversaturate your main, and that's all it is. And then you just keep one on gas, right, until you get 100 once. Or you keep, or do you start
Yeah.
rallying larva from the main back into the gas now?
Well, with the inject, I think. With the first inject, you can even actually, after 100 gas, if this drone mines 100 gas,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually pull it to the natural and just wait, like even longer, because you really don't need that gas very early, but.
What will your next larva in the main do though before the queen's out?
Well, the next larva will be just drones, yeah. Rally to the natural, yeah.
Oh, rally to the natural. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, in early game of ZvT, you just need to cover couple points if you want to have a good openings. Like before the Reaper, you need to have 4 Zerglings, and before the Reaper arrives, you also want to have third base down on the on the third base. So this build it just covers those two things, and
Yeah, it's
other than
pretty.
that, it's just the most efficient, most drones. And
Yeah, I'm actually not certain that it's the most efficient, but yeah, if it isn't, it's pretty
but like
close.
another thing you need to cover is that you need to have Zergling speed for the 4 Hellions. So.
Yeah,
If you play, let's say, gasless, I guess it's a thing. You can play it
it can.
on some
Yeah, you can
maps.
still get it, and
But if your opponent realizes that's the case, you have very tough time against 4 Hellion drop. That's what they
oh,
do.
the drop, sure, the drop can be tough. That's a
Yeah, I
fair
mean,
point.
you actually, I mean, maybe it's simpler than that because no matter what you do, if you go gasless, they will always drop Hellions because they will scout it
If they
and they
know,
will just
right?
drop
If they
Hellions.
know
Like
your
they
guess, that's sure.
100%, and they will know. They will know. I guarantee it.
How would they know?
So. They scout it somewhere. How, for example, the Reaper comes, count the drones or something like that. Like
Oh, come
they will
on.
know 100%.
This Reaper
No,
couldn't
they
know.
always know. They always know that like it's easy to know because you have like a wall of or something.
Okay.
So, and then they just do reactive drop because it's easy to do if like they have 1-1, unless they go like 3cc. Then
I mean,
maybe
if you know
gas
it's a
and
drop though, like if you know it's a drop, if you
yeah,
know
yeah,
they know and
exactly.
you know it's a drop, then it,
Yeah,
you know, you
exactly.
can
So
put
I'm
queens and
thinking,
stuff.
but what can you do really? Like,
You put queens in the main, right? And
yeah,
then
but
you're
then
good because
they
you'll have extra
run by the
queens as well.
natural. Then they run by the natural or something. It's so
If
hard.
they do that, they've I don't know, they kind of wasted the build, right? Like they went for a fast drop
No,
and
but
then
then they run by the natural and pick up and go to your main again, and it's so hard to catch them. You
I
know?
mean, I think it's hard, but there's an intrinsic benefit from just getting more minerals too, right?
Yeah.
So there's a risk reward.
I
In any
mean,
case,
we
like
all,
I'm
we
not
yeah,
arguing
we
for gasless. I'm just arguing in this same ground. If you were to do the exact same thing, but put the 17th and 18th worker mining minerals before taking the gas, I don't know if that's worse. Like the
Mm,
further patches, they mine nearly as much as the first 16.
yeah, pretty sure it's worse because you can spend all your larva anyway at this time, and you will need to mine the same amount of gas no matter what till until the same like time. You know?
Yeah, eventually, but I mean this build is basically so that you get more minerals and make more drones and get your hatchery earlier, right? So along that same line, I think you can get more minerals earlier and still get the gas in time, maybe. I
I
don't know.
mean, okay,
I
so I'm
haven't
thinking maybe there's a way that no, actually I don't know.
I haven't tested it. I'm just not 100% sure. Like
I mean,
if
there's
it
a lot
is
of
more efficient one way or the other, it's very minimal margins.
yeah, and also for example, another thing is that when two drones mine gas
Uh-huh.
instead of three, they mine like 30% more efficient.
Okay, fair.
So I guess you could do some math like
Yeah.
uh no, but like for example, another thing is that this one drone, if you will do your method, you would have three drones mining the gas, right? And with this
You would
method, you
have
have
to,
one
right?
drone.
You would have to have three drones eventually. So you're
Yeah,
right. There would be
and
some
this one
inefficiency
drone
there.
is mining like 30% more because it's mining alone, for example. So that's another thing that's
Well,
just better
it's
with this.
how much more or how much less gas does the third drone mine?
I mean, the third drone is like 30% less or something. I'm not exactly
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
sure on the math either. Anyway, I think it's minimal margins, but I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's like
That's a
minimal,
good point
but
to make.
I'm pretty sure this is the most or like is the most efficient with also quite simple because if we did your method, you would have to constantly micro the two drones in your main base,
To make
and
sure you're okay.
you would have to remember when to pull them off, when to pull them like into the gas, and
Sure.
I don't. With this one, it's very simple. Like you know
Yeah,
exactly
but
when
it's
to
not
pick
like
the
there's a
drones
lot
up.
going on in the early game, right?
Well, but it can you can make
Sure.
mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sort of brought that up too. It's less consistent, right? If you, yeah, it's a little bit less consistent and
Yeah,
maybe
this
even
one
map
is
dependent,
simple.
like depending on where the no, I mean the other method.
No, because you are right. Actually, I was like trying to improve this build order, but there was one method. I don't exactly remember what I was doing, where I think I would have like 5 minerals more.
Yeah, but it would be
But it
inconsistent
was
probably.
and so just so hard to do. Like yeah, like I would have to micro constantly the drones while the Reaper is in my natural base. That's another thing. It's
Oh,
like
fair. Yeah,
you like it's fine to micro the drones, but not during the time when the Reaper comes.
absolutely.
Then you cannot do that, and your build just sucks.
Sure.
Okay, let's continue. Let's just skip like 1 minute. Nothing happens.
Okay.
So here on this map, obviously they cannot jump into the main with the Reaper, so I should pull the Queen from the main to the natural.
Okay.
I don't do that, but I guess yeah I didn't do that because he wasn't annoying me with the Reaper.
Yeah, where is the Reaper? I wonder.
I don't know.
And there it is now. He was probably just waiting to see if you went pull first, and yeah, went for the CC cancel or delay.
Yeah, so I choose the other third base, not the front one.
Okay. Do you
A lot
have?
of Zergs say that the front one is better because you can get creep easier to the middle, and I actually kind of agree. But yeah, I
Makes sense
just
because these rocks are really annoying, right? So if you take this as your fourth, it will be difficult to defend against tank bullshit later.
yes. But
Why
like
do
I
you
had
like
some
this one better?
trouble. I actually don't. I mean, because this one is just simple to play. At least the early game because it's I think easier to defend harass and stuff like that.
Definitely, I think so too.
But actually, I think from now on I will play the front expansion. I just had some trouble getting the creep past the rocks if I was like taking the front third, because with this third that I took, it's very easy to just push the creep to the right side and to the middle. Like, you know, I cannot ping actually. Do you see my pings?
No.
Okay, yeah.
But
So
I
it's
know,
just
I know what you're
easier
saying.
to push the creep from the high ground to the low ground. And if I took the front base, I would have to go past those rocks. And if he keeps like 2 Hellions behind the rocks, it's very hard.
Do people do that? Keep 2 Hellions behind the rocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I feel
but
you.
I think it's still good because they cannot keep the Hellions forever over there. So as long as you see where the Hellions are, you can push the creep to the middle, and then the front expansion is much better.
Okay. But early aim, you're right too. It kind of like this one feels a little bit safer earlier, right? A little bit easier to maneuver.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So as you saw in the early game, I didn't send any Overlord to his base. So
Okay.
you need to get information with this Zergling, at least a little bit.
And
Like,
this slow circling made it
I mean,
all
it's
the
a
way.
speed Zergling.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, but you run it around the map, so they cannot really, like, they won't have a Reaper in the corner of the map at this time.
Yeah,
So
fair.
it always gets through.
So
So at
you're
this
looking
time,
here for what? If he has like a bunch of Marines, or if he has Hellions, just
yeah, just
whatever
anything.
he
Like,
shows you.
it's, yeah, and not like 4 minutes 10, 4 minutes to 420, you're looking for the third base in the Wolof. So if there's no CC until like 420, then that means it's probably some kind of aggression, like a bit heavier aggression. But if there's CC right now, like at 4 minutes, then you're safe and you can just keep droning. It's just gonna be 6 Hellions. So you can defend that with like 16 Zerglings maybe. Okay,
Okay.
now he plays. Oh,
Oh,
not this
this was
time.
interesting. Let's see. Could you have hidden the... Did he see the circlings there? Is that why he backed? Because he ran past the queens, and it was a good G-bait. I'm looking at his
Well,
camera now.
I think I would have surrounded him, so I'm pretty sure he saw something.
Let's see.
Or I mean, he can expect the Zerglings there.
Oh,
Yeah,
he sees all the circlings. So but I think if you run them like a little bit further back, right, then you can definitely catch the Hellions. That might have been worth.
Maybe. But I also I don't really want to trade off with the drones right now. I don't know.
You're such a pussy. You made so many links. I think this is good
12
for you, right?
it's standard. 12 Zerglings is really not that much. 12 Zerglings.
Okay.
I actually think 12 Zerglings is the minimum.
Okay.
Really the minimum, yeah.
Yeah, if that's
For example,
the case,
versus U-Thermal, you're supposed to get probably more because U-Thermal sucks the Hellions almost every game. So 12 Zerglings is maybe not even enough.
okay.
It's like the amount that you get, so if they don't run by, you're like in a good spot, but if they run by, you're also like not in the greatest spot, honestly, in my opinion.
Really? I would think with 12 Zerglings you can shut down 4 Hellions with them almost
maybe
killing
with,
nothing.
yeah, perfect micro, but it's hard.
Okay.
And if you make one mistake, it's like all your Zerglings die. So
yeah, but killing the Hellions, the first 4 Hellions is so
and
huge.
look, right now I don't have enough Zerglings. Now it would be nice to have like 20.
Yeah, but you know, he has 4 more Hellions now than before, and your Zerglings only increased by 2.
That's much more. Like I was expecting 6 Hellions, but it's 8.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's
so
not...
I agree with you. You don't have enough now, and wow, he's gonna do a bunch of damage.
Yeah,
but I think if
like,
you run with the first 4, if he didn't think you had enough then, and then you fight 12 versus 4, it looks pretty good, I think, compared to this. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So this will be quite a comeback.
If he lost his 4 Hellions for free, yeah. But I cannot know what's gonna happen in the game. If he, for example, made only 4 Hellions and he's gonna suck them for 10 drones, it's so good for him.
Ah, come on. He can't get 10 drones with you defending with 12 links. There's no way.
Okay.
This turret.
Okay, so yeah, so right now the Raven is actually great on this map because you cannot ever catch it. You need kind of like something like Mutalisk to start poking into this Raven. So
and the Raven would actually be better against the other third too, right? Because I can sit between the main and the third.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the same in my opinion. Because right now you can send this Raven to the top, like literally 12 o'clock, and you can You can send the turrets into 2 bases.
Yeah, but if you send the Raven between your main and the third that we were talking about, then you can go to either one, no?
Well, yeah, but you have the same with this one. At the top, you look at the top right. Above my favorite, it's a second Raven.
Oh, you mean between the natural and the
Yes,
third?
natural and third. So
Oh,
he
okay,
can do
that's
the same.
fair. Yeah. Yeah, that is the same, you're right.
So right now, obviously, I'm not in the greatest spot. 23 drones lost. It's very bad. But at the same time, he invested more than he should into Hellions because it wasn't 6, it was 8. Sacking 8 Hellions, so it's just not the greatest thing. And the Hellions are actually very useful in the mid game and late game.
For
Or
denying
not
creep.
late game, but not only. Like you have actually a couple uses for Hellions. You can defend your third base from any run by early on because for example, you move out with your 2 medivacs. You have 0 army at home and like 20 Zerglings come, they will do a lot of damage. But if you have 2 Hellbats, then the Zerglings cannot do anything. Just 2 Hellbats even. If 2 Hellbats survive, then you cannot really counterattack anymore.
Okay. But primarily,
And,
I think sacrificing the Hellions has given you a lot of room to creep spread and whatnot too.
Yeah, so
I really like your Evo chambers.
so that's one very funny thing. So Terran players always whine about that creep spread is too strong. There's too much creep spread. It's too easy to spread, right?
Yeah.
But then you play versus somebody like Uterma whose style is to suck the Hellions and give me total freedom for drones, right? So obviously I'm in a bad spot when it comes to drone count, but because his playstyle looks like this, I can get my advantage through creep spread. So
sure.
So that's why I have good creep spread. But if for example, those Hellions survived, obviously it would be way harder. Especially that it's 8 Hellions and he has Ravens too. So if, let's say, he has 8 Hellions in front of my third base right now, he would clear all this creep with the Raven. And he wouldn't kill any drones, but,
And he has the Raven too. I wonder if it would be good for him to just make like an extra 2 after he sacrifices them, just to clear creep with the Ravens.
I don't know. Because he also needs like at this point,
He wants the tank and shit, right?
Yeah. There might be all-ins coming and stuff like this. He never knows if he's actually gonna get the drones killed with the Hellions.
Maybe a Banshee instead of a second Raven or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna
help him.
I really I'm not gonna judge his build order right now. I think it's pretty decent, but it just relies on sacrificing your units and giving like freedom for killing some drones, which is okay. I think it's not the greatest play there is for Terran. I think Terrans should actually keep their units, most of them, and just kill the creep.
I think he had a great trade. I think he was probably pretty happy.
It was very good. It was definitely very good. It just I have some counterplay with the creep and and it's not always gonna go as well. Like it was. Yeah.
The Evo chambers I really like. Those are for Hellion Rambies primarily.
Yes, but the Hellions died.
Yeah.
So
still
but
pretty.
Yes. It's on some maps is a bit risky to put Evo chambers like this because they can always come with like siege tanks push and kill your Evos. But on this map, obviously, siege tank push is not gonna come from the right side. So
that's a great point.
It's a good safe spot. For
I like that reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, so my creep spread should be so much better right now because he gave me so much freedom, but it's one of I just.
Hey, can we touch for the audience why on the siege tanks not coming to the right? I mean, it seems obvious, but let's just go over it.
What?
Siege tanks, they won't come to the right because it's super far away, because the rocks provide for a better sieging spot onto the fourth, or sieging in the middle of all 3 bases.
Well, like it's super open, like there's no cliffs that you can abuse. I mean, you can abuse those cliffs from the gold base, but it's too far away, so I will never engage into you until you start committing further.
Right.
But I mean,
it's just a weird bad spot and isolated from everything else.
You can attack from there, but there are just better spots to attack from. The middle is actually a known, like, super Terran favorite spot to attack. It's like this is why some Terrans consider this map Terran favorite, and I think this map is Terran favorite because this middle position, there's so many cliffs that Terran can abuse. It's actually
Yeah.
It's one of the better positions to attack through like all the maps in the map pool right now. So
And then
why
you
would
have the
you
fourth
choose
with the
anything else?
rocks, which is also very good.
Yeah. So you push very very nice position, and you have a fourth base behind it. It's very nice.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm like 20 supply behind. I'm even behind the drones. It's not very good, but
You're doing the low gas style, right? Like just
yes.
Ling-Bane?
But now I'm gonna do the load gas style. It's like Stefano style.
Oh, fuck you.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
You can't lose against Bio.
I think it's amazing too. I don't know if I told you or I told Lambo that I was doing this. And one of you were like, I don't know, I like my style, you know? I might have told Lambo.
Where did you play this?
When?
Yeah.
Before Stefano. Well, Lambo said it
Yeah.
was before Stefano. You can ask him.
I mean, I remember like True was playing something similar, but with Hydras.
Someone said that DRG used to do something like this or something like that way back in the
Yeah,
day.
I
I
don't
don't really
know.
watch. I don't really watch it like much
It's totally
StarCraft, so I
different
don't
thing.
know.
Okay, so like when I'm at like 76 drones, usually with normal styles you would probably want to have like 80 drones already. But because I don't take gas, it's
Your
like
mineral intel is
70,
insane.
74 is already like very good. Like I can produce from 6 hatcheries, no problem. So now it's just about like surviving this attack, and after if I survive, I can go up to like 80 drone and just have infinite production.
Perfect. How do you feel about like run-bys and such with this attack? I feel like when I play this style, I always feel like there's more room for me to do more stuff because you have the most mobile unit ever, but I can't personally. So I just wait until they attack and fucking crush them, right?
Yeah.
But I imagine you can do all sorts of bullshit.
Yes. So you need to counterattack. This is this style completely relies on counterattacks,
Yeah.
or at least denying bases and killing economy. If you wouldn't kill any economy, then it's a bit hard to get into like this. It's just hard to trade efficiently because they will get this position, for example, with their whole army, and you can trade, but you won't trade perfectly. But if you start run buying, you actually will get those trades a bit, a bit better. Because you will like fight versus unsiege the siege tanks, you will start killing some SCVs and maybe cancel ACC, and then their economy is like much worse than it should be.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can play totally defensive. It's possible. It just I think.
I think
You
it's
need to use.
strictly worse, yeah. Like, because you're
You just
wasting
need
all the
to-
potential of the speed of the
Exactly.
links.
Yes.
It's just so fucking
For
hard, you
example,
know? This style has so much potential.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Billy, turn that off. Okay.
Yeah, so obviously here, well, this engagement is pretty terrible. I thought maybe he's unsieged or something, but I'm at the same time I'm counter-attacking his 4 base, and this is where the trades are starting to get decent for me. I feel
There
like
we
at
go.
least, especially that I finished two upgrades right now, so I'm really trading good. But
The scary thing is he's pushing into a favorable position, right? Like, ideally, when these trades are happening, I think you want them to push earlier than they want to push, but right now he's kind of like in a scary
he's
position.
waiting too long. I think he should be a bit more aggressive. Also, he's expanding very slow. Like at 10 minutes, you can already have even fifth base. To be honest, to put down your fourth base at 10 minutes is very late. And yeah, so mostly I think what he should do is just expand faster and be a bit more aggressive in the middle. Or I mean, he's waiting for the creep to disappear,
recede,
but I
yeah.
think he should be a bit faster for sure. And what I should do is maybe counterattack the third base from the top, because there's just one siege tank and I can get very nice trade. Like, let's say I blow up 6 paintings to the
Oh, and this is
wall
interesting.
off and...
This is not Stefano or my style. You're going fucking Vipers.
Oh, well, okay, so look. This game is a bit special. It's not... I don't want to play like this, but I'm very far behind after the early game. So, and I know he's very committed with this timing attack, and he has a lot of siege tanks, and this position is also different than on normal maps, so I had to change it up a bit.
Okay.
Usually what you
cool.
want to do with the style is just get Ling-Bane and get straight into Spider, because in the long run, Vipers won't be
They can't
They-
clear the medevacs, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, they are good. The Vipers
They can
are
help
good,
you, yeah.
but
They can help you.
Corruptors are better, straight up. And it's just I don't get Corruptors right now because I don't have money, I don't have Spires, I don't have upgrades.
Okay,
And I
so
need
Stefano
something.
makes 2 spires and then adds gases, right?
Yes,
Is that what you do
yeah,
as well?
I do exactly the same. I think it's the best, yeah.
I don't like that. I personally think the second spire is just kind of useless. And making
Oh,
too
no.
many corruptors is kind of useless too.
No.
Why is that?
It's not. It's just, it's the best, man.
Why?
It's the
Why?
best. Okay, so what do you do instead?
I get 1 spire and I make like 5 corruptors. The corruptor's job is just to kill the medevacs after you win the fight on the ground. I don't think you need
but-
like 20 corruptors.
But in the late game, you would like probably Broodlords, right? Because
I mean,
what
I
if they go
guess.
like
Let me ask you
Liberate?
this, Miko. How many games of this one go to Broodlords for you?
Oh, very like every second game.
Oh, come on, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then maybe if you're thinking about the transition, I think for the style.
Versus good players, like versus like bad players, you'll probably kill them with Ling-Bane, but you cannot actually finish Terran off with Ling-Bane. So
Sure.
if they camp correctly on 4 base, you will need to go Broodlord at some point, no matter what.
Okay. I just don't think that I don't think that that Broodlords require like super upgrades either, right?
Okay, so I will explain like
Okay.
there's no rush as Zerg, you know?
Sure.
You just do counter attacks, you trade evenly, and if you want to win the game, pretty much the win condition is you will get Broodlord army. That's the strongest army Zerg can get, and finally like kill off Terran. And I don't think Terran can really compete with Broodlord army unless like what do you think they can do? They can get like mass.
They can't do very much.
They can get like mass ghosts, liberator or something. They can surround you with Vikings.
It's hard for sure.
So there's not much counterplay they can do, but if anything, they can kill you with like killing all the Banings, supporting the Broodlords, and run below Broodlords with Marines and kill them, or kill them with mass Viking that they produce from like 4 starports they had in the back, so they would have like 10 Vikings.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to push with Broodlords, you actually want to have like +2 defense. And with +2 defense is because there's no rush. Like you can just play Ling-Bane all game long.
Sure.
And only when you feel like you want to finish the game, you go Broodlords.
So why would you open yourself up to being weaker earlier if you're in no rush?
You don't open yourself to being weaker. Like you have 2 spires in the back when you're maxed out with a big bank.
Okay.
And you're just getting upgrades, and that's it. And you're getting upgrades. For example, in the past, what I did is even if Terran was on like 5 base and I was on 8 base and I had 5k, I would not get Broodlords until I had 3 free upgrades, and that only then I would get Broodlords because that's the strongest timing I can do, possibly, right? 3 free
Sure.
Broodlord timing. Right now,
so what I saw
I'm thinking-
Stefano do versus time is when he finished his double spires, right? Like he took extra gases, started floating some gas, like a lot of gas. Then he got like fucking 15 corruptors or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like they didn't really do shit. Like I think that 4 corruptors, the 5 corruptors can do the exact same job that those 15 are doing flying around.
I'm not sure. I like 15 also, or like 20, because
I think it's super overkill. Like think of what they do, what they can do.
yeah. So what can they do?
I mean, they can poop on
Exactly.
buildings if you've already won the game and you have.
No. But what can Terran do? Like what can Terran do? So if they want to beat you, right? They cannot beat you with Ghost Bio.
Okay.
Like you have mass Ling-Bane army, so they cannot beat you with Ghost Bio. What can they do is like get Ravens, Liberators, Vikings. So what you do with 20 corruptors is totally shut down all the air units, so all the Medivacs, all the Liberators they have. And after you clear that up with 20 corruptors, you go Broodlord timing, and they cannot stop it.
Okay, so you're like basically accounting for all possible transitions that could beat you.
Yeah, because like there's.
But it does make you weaker against like the mid game, right?
I'm not sure. No, I mean not really.
Because you'll have 20 corruptors. If you have 20 corruptors,
I get double spire only after I'm maxed out. As you see right now, I'm getting Vipers because I'm not maxed out and I need something fast.
Okay.
But after, I mean, let's watch the game actually.
Yeah, let's watch the game.
So right now I'm trying to counterattack, but obviously it's not gonna work. He's prepared, and I'm pretty far behind still. He's maxed out already. I need a very good engagement right now if I want to actually win the game. It's very surprising, like he's maxed out and he's just waiting right now. He's not even expanding that fast. So yeah, that's a bit weird. But
Yeah, and you gave up the mid position as well, so it's not like...
yeah, there's not much I could do. Like he had 5 siege tanks and I'm behind in supply. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just saying it's weird that he's not pushing, right?
Yeah, and
like
look,
he has a good
this is the
position and he has
and this is the
perfect
position I'm
army.
talking about on acid. It's just so hard to break it if you don't have full surround over it. And even with full surround, you're not trading properly. But somehow, some way, I got enough army to clear this with a nice surround. Still, we traded pretty much 50-50, I think.
Yeah, also left the Vipers out of this.
So that's why I think if he expanded faster and he had the same economy as I do, then, you know, I would probably lose, maybe. But because his economy is worse, then I can still play.
Oh, those that's really nasty, nifty on the missile thingies on the links. Those are gonna melt.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna continue to parade push. You're still kind of behind here.
Very, very close actually right now. Like, if he had like 8 marines more, I might just... Oh, maybe not, because I actually have a lot of reinforcements. And because my economy is like 90 drones right now, it's... I pretty much, if I survive here, I will have infinite army from now on. This was the last point in the game where I actually... You know, I had to kind of scrape for units. Yeah, like... Right now, it's I know I will survive anything he can throw at me. And I'm getting Ultra Cavern and 2 Spires. Ultra Cavern may be not necessary, but I just thought that if he's not gonna transition into Ghost or something like that, I can use maybe 3 Ultras. But it's actually... I don't recommend it. Like, Ling-Bane is just better, in my opinion.
Just giving yourself options, I guess. Yeah, Stefano also dropped the Ultra Cavern. I mean, if they answer the...
He also says he doesn't like Ultra Cavern. It's like, I did it because sometimes I feel like it, but I always get disappointed after, so...
Yeah,
so like, if I could right now go back in time, I would not make this Ultra Cavern, or this upgrade too. Well, I'm always disappointed with this Ultra Cavern.
Well, you could just apply the same logic, right? Like, you can't die, so what are they gonna do? Just get it anyway?
Yeah, but why waste minerals and gas?
I mean, that would be my argument.
Like, imagine we go into super late game. Imagine we go into super late game.
Right.
And I'm gonna have like 300 gas, 300 minerals more less than
I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you.
Fucking ultras, man. Why do I make them? Like, they will be so useless against this. They have already liberated siege tanks.
Oh, you made them? Oh, you made 5 of them?
I don't know what I was doing. I actually get a nice trade here.
Yeah, better than you should have for sure.
But I mean, I know exactly what his like base count is. I know I have 2 times better economy than he does, so I know I'm fine doing some bad trades right now.
No, really, that's so clenched. You're not even maxed, and now you have ultras. You don't have corruptors. Like, the liberators are fucking scary.
Chill, man. I can't die.
Okay.
I'm immortal.
Let's see it.
So now I'm getting double upgrades, corruptors. It's just not a lot of corruptors, 8 corruptors, but it's because I already have some vipers. So after I lose vipers, I'll get more corruptors.
Okay.
Because as I said, I think Terran is just useless without air units, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. That makes sense. Because
like,
Ling-Bane counters
medivacs, even their bio, even if their bio doesn't work without medivacs. So I don't see why would you just get like 5 corruptors if you can get 20 and totally shut it down like forever. Because even if you have 40 supply less, they won't beat you with 100 supply of pure bio. It just won't happen. It's impossible versus Banes. Because it's too...
How do you ever lose these games then? Or is Surge just OP?
You shouldn't.
Okay, so Surge is broken is what you're saying.
No. They're supposed to kill you in the early game.
Oh, they're supposed to kill you in the early game. But you have like a...
No,
You have
okay, okay.
Ling-Bane.
Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, it's harder to play with Ling Bane style against mines, so that's
Uh-huh.
one thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can actually do a lot of in the mid game. I'm just saying that in the Europe versus those terrains, I think I shouldn't really lose.
Okay.
But every time I go to Korea and I think I'm invincible in a matchup, they prove me wrong. So
Okay. So maybe there you would need to make just 5 corruptors.
yes, yes, yes. I don't think so. I really think this style is very good.
Okay. I think
And
this is
look,
overkill. Just like. Okay. How about this,
what
Miko? Just try 5 corruptors. You
no,
know.
no, no.
No, you're
I
not gonna
mean,
try it even.
I mean, I tried. I mean, I know how it's gonna work. Look, this is. Look at this. What would five corruptors do?
I mean, you wouldn't run them in for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And what then would happen? He would just siege even closer.
Well, if he's
Like,
going liberators, I think you can add more corruptors, right? But if he's
yeah,
not going liberators for the like Ling-Bane
but
versus
they will
Bio.
always they will always do it at some point. If they won't, they will lose the game no matter what. So I'm just saying. I'm just looking into the future. Like they will definitely go into air. If they
Okay.
won't, then I don't like. Then I can just keep massing Ling-Bane. Look at this corrupt man. This is beautiful. Look at this. I killed everything.
I mean, you killed a bunch of liberators that are not really
Yeah.
a huge threat either, right?
Okay, and what I like actually with look at my spires, I do 1-1 first, 1-1 upgrades, and then I do greater spire and +2 defense. And I think especially that Corruptor starts with +2 defense.
They're very good against Marines, right? Tanky
Yes,
Marines.
so with +2 defense, you have already 4 armor, and like they really don't take any damage. So it's just really sick. That's why you take double spire, so you have this +2 armor. If you could, you should probably wait for free upgrades, but I don't think you need to. I think +2 armor is already good enough.
Okay.
And you don't really allow Terran to go into the like ultimate compositions if you play like this. And now I have rulers because of maybe I could play some other way. I could maybe do more damage with Ling-Bane, but I think at this point I already have money and I have upgrades for Broodlord, so I just don't want to wait even more.
All right.
Like I'm not because right now with this army I don't really know what can they do anymore. Like what he's doing is he's trying to get Vikings and Liberators, but this is where like just armor comes into play, and the amount of Corruptors too. That's why like if you make
What
because
about
I'm not
Thors?
making
How do you feel about Thors?
they are decent, but I mean the one Thor won't change anything. So
Yeah, I just mean like with this low numbers, like it's. I think it would be one of the better options.
I mean better than Siege Tank for sure. Yeah, but.
Yeah.
I just don't see one Thor changing anything. Like a big army of Thors, yeah, it
No,
can't
like
change people. It's good.
yeah. I don't mean one. I just mean like enough to start like one-shotting the bird, maybe like 3 or something at least, right? To help against
Yeah,
the
look
birds.
at the Marines. Like they are. If I didn't have this +1 armor, those Broodlords would just disappear in this position.
Sure.
But because they are +3 armor, so good. +2 armor. I mean.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so you can go back a bit and we can talk about actually this Corruptor number. So like, I just don't see the logic behind like 5 Corruptors at all.
Well, it's consistent, I think, with the style, right? Like the style is trying to flood the armies and basically crush the armies with mostly like mineral income, right?
I just
So if you go for the corruptors, I think that you can do this same thing without taking extra gases or taking very few, or maybe like taking 1 extra gas. Stay on the mid tier shit longer, and yeah, keep crushing armies more comfortably.
yeah.
That's the logic behind it. I mean, you're saying you want to transition, right? There's a trade-off, right? Like there's a risk reward, I think.
Yes, but at the same time you shut down. With the more corruptors you make, you really shut down a lot of counterplay too. With like all the drops, they cannot really drop anymore.
Can they drop
With
when you have 5 corruptors?
I mean, definitely more than if you have fucking 20.
Kind of, right? Like, I mean, how big are we talking drops? Like, imagine a drop.
Well, I mean, there's one drop coming to the 5th base, one drop to the 3rd base. There's a Liberator at the 3rd base. I don't know. There's like a lot of things is flying towards you.
Mm-hmm.
The more corruptors you have, you can split them more and just shut down everything.
Yeah, I guess. I can't really split them either. So.
Okay, so, I mean, we go into late game, right? So, we are like, we have 200 supply.
I mean,
We will have,
for the purpose of like going into late game, and like if you contextualize it as we're going late game, and you know, like
no,
I'm
but
gearing
I
up for
mean,
late game, then obviously, right, like more upgrades and more
I mean, I don't
corruptors.
mean like, we're just in the stage where we're already maxed out one Ling-Bane pretty much, and we're starting to bank minerals and gas. So we can just keep spamming Ling and Bane, and that will work. That is like, there's not much Terran can do about it.
Right.
But at some point, you definitely want corruptors. Like, corruptors are actually the key anti-air.
Sure.
You can make Vipers or you can make corruptors, and I'm pretty sure for the Liberators you already need to have corruptors when they have like plus free Liberators plus. And now
Okay.
you can think if you want 5 corruptors or more.
Like think about it this way though. Should they even make liberators against Ling-Bane?
I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
they're pretty shit. Like what do liberators do against Ling-Bane?
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna analyze the game from the Terran point of view, man. Like, they need to figure it out by themselves.
Okay. Well, I think
Like,
liberators are a waste against Ling-Bane. So if they want to make them, I'm kind of okay with that. The idea is, I think you're getting the corruptors a lot later than I do. Like I just make a casual spire, then make 5 corruptors.
yeah.
And then what happens is after the
mhm.
attacks, like whenever I clean their army, I can also kill the medevacs or kill the medevacs while I clean the army.
This style relies on spores. This is like one of the key things about this style is that you need to have a lot of spores everywhere. I mean, you can look at my base on the left side. Yeah, it has 5 spores.
Yeah.
But you actually, in the other maps or on the most maps, you want to have this set up on each base, like 5 spores per base. So you can transition into anti-air as late as possible. But at the time where they have liberators, you already need corruptors. That's like 100%.
Sure.
And then, I mean, I don't know if they are good or not, but they make them, and you will need corruptors for them, 100%. And so you can make 5 corruptors or more. And I just think that if you're maxed out, right, you have, let's say, 90 drones. 90 drones is like a good amount for the like late game. I just think like having 10 supply of corruptors is really nothing. Or like having, so I prefer to just have like 30 or 40 because 100 supply of Ling-Bane will like be enough for anything they can throw at you anyway.
Okay.
And corruptors will trade definitely good, almost for free actually. Like
sure. I
you're
mean, the
just
more
flying with
you
them.
make, the more you'll retain as well, right?
Yeah. So you, to me, it's like you can make.
I mean, if you're confident
Whatever.
that 100 supply of Ling-Bane can beat anything on the
Yes,
ground, then
exactly.
go for
So because you're scared that you will have to sacrifice something for it, but I don't think you sacrifice anything. Like,
well, I mean,
the
what
more
about
corruptors you
Rambice
have,
then? Like, it sounds like, so you're talking about 100
uh,
supply of Ling-Bane, but if you do Rambice, then all of a sudden it's less supply, right?
oh, you maybe you cannot do run buys, but this time, so I can tell you exactly like from my experience how the games look at this point. Like, so before corruptors, you're banking minerals. You have like 4K at this time. I mean, maybe less, like 3K, 2K. And you're deciding to make corruptors finally. I just pretty much spent all my bank on corruptors. Like I get as many corruptors I have gas. So like I have 2000 gas, I get like 20 corruptors. And at this point, maybe you won't run by them anymore, but like at this point you're starting to think about Broodlord transition, like to finish the game.
Sure.
So you're just starting to look to get some free traders air units and kill them. And if you're scared of dying, it won't really happen because they cannot push you anymore. If you have 20 corruptors, you will kill all the air, and they cannot push you with the ground alone. So it's actually the chances of you dying are, I think, less with the 20 corruptors than without, with just Ling-Bane.
As the game gets considerably later, right? Like
Sorry?
as the game gets considerably later, as they have
Well, if you're like
whatever.
if you're maxed out, I think it's easier to survive with being maxed out with 20 corruptors than with just 40 supply of Ling-Bane more. Because if you have only Ling-Bane, obviously a lot of stuff can happen. Like they can have those liberators, they can start dropping you everywhere. and you might start dropping some units for free to, I don't know, siege tanks. I don't know. But with Corruptors, like they will start to have, yeah, like problem. Like they cannot drop you anymore. They have to like be really afraid of like sieging Liberators anywhere. I don't know. Like they cannot really do much, honestly. Like almost nothing at all versus Corruptors. All they can do is have Ghosts, and Ghost obviously will counter Corruptor, but then you transition into Broodlord.
Sure.
And yeah, and you can still like counter attack. You can send like 40 Zerglings, like I do on the right side of this map right now. Like I still have Corruptors fighting in the middle, and Terran actually needs to commit way more into fighting the Corruptors and Broodlords. Like they need to have almost all their army when they're fighting versus Corruptors and Broodlords.
Yeah, I think this
So
is the late game, right? Like it's when you're
yeah, so
deciding
it's
to
even
end the
harder
game.
for them to like split off their army to defend the run by. So you can still run by, but just at this stage, it's really you're starting to get your ultimate army, and
Right.
you don't need to run by anymore. It's like when you get this army, you will probably win, especially with those upgrades. You will really, if you play like I do, that's another thing. It's like you'll get those upgrades faster than Terran. So imagine very often what happens in, let's say, hours like Serra games is that Serra will have Broodlords versus some Terran, but the Terran has like
Is
plus 2
Sarah
or
playing
plus
this
3.
style as well?
No, but I mean he gets into late game with Broodlords. But that's the problem. So what he gets is like he has Broodlords with like +1 attack or something, and then Terran shows up with +2 Vikings, and they like start clearing up all the Broodlords very fast. But with this style, it's like you will not only be not like you won't be really surprised by Vikings, but you will have actually better upgrades on them. So
Yeah, like I
like
said, like for the purpose of late game, I don't think there's arguing that, Double Spire or fucking more Corruptors are good.
yeah, but this style is overall like kind of directed into late game. I mean, it's just great style to survive, but it's not really designed to kill your opponent. You can do a lot of damage with run-bys.
Sure.
You can sometimes kill them, but overall it's too...
Yeah, usually you will win like off of counterattacks, right? Like you crash their army so hard that you can push around across the map and win.
Yeah, I mean the difference is that most people play Hydra Ling-Bane, and I do Ling-Bane Spore into Corruptor. That's pretty much it. And or Corruptor is obviously the ultimate anti-air for Zerg. Like you cannot play with Hydras forever. At some point you will have to transition from Hydras to Corruptor anyway, so I just...
Yeah, and to go Hydra Ling-Bane you need the extra gases.
Yeah, so I just kind of skip this Hydra phase and just go straight into from Spore to Corruptor.
Sure, I'm with you. I'm not big on the Hydras either. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the more Corruptors, the better, to be, like, honestly. Maybe, okay, more than 20, don't make more than 20. I think, like, the amount I have right now is, like, 13 is pretty good. Maybe, like, 15. 15 is good, too, but...
Yeah, okay.
They don't really die. I mean, they have only +1 armor, but imagine if I do those engagements with, like, +3. Like, they don't die anymore.
I think this is also considerably later. Like, I think we're talking about different stages. Like, when I say I get 5 Corruptors, I mean I get 5 Corruptors with my army to clear medevacs.
So instead of 5 Corruptors, I do Spores. I do Spores everywhere, like each base.
But that's only defensively, right? Like, when you clear an army, I don't know if there's some... here, I'll show you.
Oh yeah, but as I'm saying, this style is supposed to go into late game. This is not supposed to kill them. So... Like, I'm expecting to get like 5 spores per base and just survive until I have good upgrades on air. And that's when I go Corruptors. Like, each base, okay, so each base should have 4 spores. Like, it should have a square around it with spores. Each base that I take. And what helps me with getting those spores is like having a drone count which is like 90 or 100. Even like up to 100 drones, no problem. Like with this style, this is what you're playing for. Maybe this map is a bit too small, so you can get 100, but not in this position that I had because I was a bit too far behind. But normally, maybe you can get like 100 drones, and then you have no problem spending like 5 drones on spores, because then you just have still 95. And yeah, so this style is good. You can do a lot with like mid-game, with counterattacks. You can defend almost anything with Ling-Bane. You can do... What you can do is even like Baneling drops. If you're feeling fancy, you can do Baneling mines. a lot of those.
Right now, he really should be pushing here, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure he made mistakes because I was so far behind that, especially on this map, I
On
should
the
die.
early game, yeah, you
100%.
took a lot of damage.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and I mean the key with this style is also creep spread. I'm not an expert on creep. I'm pretty bad at it. For someone like Stefano is like 2 times better at creep, and that's why he's actually very good at this style.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is just you get a fuckload of economy, you get a lot of units, and then you can expand pretty
Yeah,
freely.
and just survive and survive and survive with mass
And the
spore everywhere.
expansions are like, come at me, bitch, right?
Yeah, and at the time where you get like 20 corruptors, I feel like you should win the game pretty much.
Sure.
I really don't really like if you have two like 22 corruptors when they aren't even transitioned into like Ghost Liberator, then there's no chance. And even if they transition to Ghost Liberator, then you just try to poke a little bit and you get straight into like 12 Broodlords, also with good upgrades. And you push into them, which is exactly what you want. There's literally nothing else. Like what you want versus the ultimate Terran army, which is like Ghost Liberator, you want Broodlords. So
Or just
that's my.
Ling-Bane, right? Like what? Ghost Liberator
Mm,
can't beat Ling-Bane.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's not actually not that easy, man. You would have to play versus somebody like Maru playing like Ghost Liberator, and then you would see like it's not this easy to just kill them with Linkbane because they will have planetaries everywhere, like 2 planetaries on
Yeah,
each
yeah. I don't mean
base.
attack them with Ling-Bane. I mean like again, like
I mean,
my
yeah,
plan
so
is
you can
usually
survive.
I
You can
expand so
survive.
much that you can be like, okay, I'm making a lot of expansions, so you have to attack me, right? And then when they attack you, you crush them, and then counterattack
Yeah,
can
but
either
Maru
kill
won't do
something
that.
or not.
Maru will just wait, and Maru will just wait for you with
Yeah, I've
Ghost
seen
Liberator
Mara
and
wait.
maybe
Sure,
maybe slowly push one base or like nuke all of your bases at the same time.
sure. But then I think
And
if
that's
they're
when
waiting, like if they're like playing planetary fortresses, if they're like taking up too fast, then you can
yeah, and
also
that's when
just
you go
take up
Broodlords.
faster. Yeah, sure.
Then you go Broodlords, exactly, and this
Yeah.
is what the style is about. Yeah.
But
Um.
I think that's a specific situation, right? Like you should be able to tell, oh, this motherfucker's stacking up, like he's making
Yes.
liberators,
Yes.
ghost,
Yes.
planetary fortresses. Now
Yeah. So
maybe then you can take all your gases, make a fuckload of
okay. So,
corruptors go
but
into.
how you should look at the style is that you really want to go late game. You want to get Broodlords. If Terran allows you to, I don't know, kill him because I don't know he do- doesn't make siege tanks. He doesn't make widow mines. I don't know what he does. Like, sure, you can just kill him, but generally, if you don't know if you can break him, if you,
Yeah, again,
yeah,
like I think you're
if he's
misinterpreting though.
bunkering himself, then just,
I would never try to kill the Terran with this style.
yeah,
Just yeah, I would just wait for them to attack, kill their army, which is what this style does, right? Like just flood their army and kill it.
yeah, if they push you, but
And
they
if you
shouldn't.
trade hard enough, like if you trade well enough, then you can counterattack.
Yeah, the only way they should be attacking you is like with good positioning. Like he tried to go in the middle with like 5 siege tanks everywhere, like good spread without creep. That's the only way they should be attacking you, and it's very hard to trade efficiently, like no matter what was there, even if you surround them. And besides attacks like this, yeah, they cannot really do much. What you can also do versus attacks like this, you can sometimes just give up a base and just creep on the other side, start expanding on the other side. They again need to buy a lot of time to like kill the creep again and stuff like that. And
Sure.
what you're doing as Zerg, you're just buying time to get into Broodlords and get better upgrades on there. So what you're doing is you're just trying to survive until you have Broodlords. This is what the style is about. And
Sure.
if you can do something, then yeah.
All right. Any other closing thoughts, then, Miko?
Yeah. Actually, I'm just saying that this style is the best, man. This style, I think everybody will play it soon.
I think so too. Ling-Bane. Well, I think the basis of it. I think that Ling-Bane low gas is just insane. I'm curious to see if people end up
I mean,
making 20
Hydras. I mean, the
corruptors
thing
per
about
game.
Hydras. I mean, okay, so Hydras are good, you know. Hydras are good,
Sure.
and the problem with this style is Ling-Bane. I mean, Widow Mines. So after the new patch, Hydras are gonna get nerfed and the Widow Mines are gonna get buffed. So this is gonna a bit change the dynamic actually, because versus hidden widow mines it's so hard, man. It's so hard to counterattack.
I think you need just a bunch of overseers and run them in front of your army.
Yeah, but man, your army blows up there. Like,
No, what do you mean?
imagine there's a widow mine on the right side, on the third base of your thermal. There are like 2 widow mines. You have to babysit your army so much.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously trade versus it, but you just need to babysit your army 4 times more than you should. Like right now, I can just move 40 Zaylings to this space and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But with widow mines, it will just blow up. So I need to like slow down my run bys 2 times.
Sure.
I cannot do like Raynor. You know how Raynor plays, like run bys everywhere. They are coming to the main base natural.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot play like this versus widow mines.
Well, sure. Widow mines are particularly good against this because of the AoE, right? Like this is a very clumped up type of
so
Unicom.
versus this style, widow mines are a great choice for sure.
Sure.
But even versus widow mines, if you play good, I mean, hydras are kind of a counter to widow mines. That's why this style is great. But I think sometimes maybe you need to mix in the hydras. That only because of the widow mine issue. Or sometimes maybe after seeing widow mines, you can just transition into hydras. Maybe. Just add 2 gases and get hydra then.
I mean, I like overseers, to be honest, just in front of.
Yeah, but overseers. I mean.
And for run-bys, you can just separate your... I don't mean for detection, right? Like, I mean to explode them onto their army. Like, if they're pushing with widow mines, I think you can send overseers right in front of your army and then fly over their army.
You know what's good for that? Corruptors.
Corruptors are good against widow mines, you mean?
Yeah, you fly. You remember?
I mean, they were smaller. They were slower than overseers, so you get way less control.
But they also don't die. You just fly into their army of corruptors.
Well, the overseer doesn't die either. Like the corruptor will actually draw more aggro than the overseer.
Okay, I mean maybe you're
the overseer. The overseer, they would have to actually click on the overseer to kill it, because as soon as the rest of your army is behind the overseer, like the Terran army retargets to the threatening units. And it doesn't consider the overseer a threat.
It's not simple. It's not very consistent. I don't know. Overall,
I think it's extremely consistent. It's just like people didn't do it, and widow mines are out of the meta now.
Well,
but I think eventually
people like five overseers with speed, and you've just
with speed, yeah. Well, it depends on how many overseers. Depends on how many you want to make. The cool thing is they're also like they don't cost supply, and you can make them instantly. So if you get surprised by a fuckload of widow mines, you just morph as many as you want or can and go for it.
Maybe I'll think about it. Yeah.
I showed you a video like last.
No, I remember.
BlizzCon.
It was cool, but they just I remember you were showing me.
Like I pull that shit off like every time. I think it'll happen like consistently when widow mines are back. I think players will start learning to do that.
I will try it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I just look at some. I'm thinking about some scenarios where they have like 2 widow mines in the front. Behind that, they have like 20 marines that they can steam and just one-shot your overseers.
Yeah, if they wanna. The thing is, what people would have to get good at is making it so that the army's right behind the overseers. So the widow mines lock onto the overseers, but then everything else starts shooting the army.
Yeah. I will look at it. Yeah, for sure. If some Terran starts, the thing is about European Terrans is that they are fucking stupid, man. They will just play tanks forever, like.
No, it's just
forever and ever.
Yeah, it's just for the hydras, right?
Sorry?
I mean, they should be going widow mines against this style, I think.
They like definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it just takes them like months to figure it out. I don't know why.
And it's weird too because they should know from before.
The funny thing is that I played, so I'm playing European Terrans, and it's like this style is just I can't lose.
Hey, do you think when Ling-Bane is back, they will still do tanks for a bit?
I don't think so because so listen. So the thing is, in Korea they are already playing mines, like almost exclusively mines. That's what Major says and Elazer like.
Against hydras even?
Yeah, just overall, like I mean, they say mines are better.
Oh,
and
that's
especially versus this style. So.
Well, definitely versus this style, but I think the tank style was popular because of Hydra, right?
Because when we went to Montreal to play the tournament, it's like I was so sure in this style and all Europeans were playing siege tanks, but already like Major would play mines almost like every game. Elazer would also play mines, and it was like, yeah, it's not just Korean Terrans that are good, like special in Elazer also, it's just Europeans. Huh? I don't know what's
Well,
wrong
I
with
mean,
that.
the special in Kellasor got it from Koreans, though, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
That's just a meta
but,
shift, but I think the meta shifted to tanks because of Hydras initially, right?
yes.
So I don't know
Because
if it's like
it's
bad
actually
against
very
Hydras.
difficult. It's very difficult to play mines against Hydras. You need very good multitasking.
And tanks seem good
Without
against
without
Hydras.
yeah, without good multitasking, mines just won't work no matter
Sure.
what. So maybe it's a Korean thing. Maybe you just need to play good with mines for sure.
Well, we can definitely agree that
With
mines are
siege
better
tanks,
against this.
siege tanks are simpler to play, like very simple, but also not as good. So
Yeah. Well, all right, Miko. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope to have you for another episode down the line.
okay, sure. I'm gonna try to get better game. Like this one was so full of mistakes.
Yeah.
It actually didn't really show the beauty of this style because it wasn't even long enough. I would like to show you like a game 30 minutes
Yeah.
where I can get like a proper game on a big map.
Sure. Pick a
So maybe
grab a
one
loss
time
as well. Grab the style losing. One of the style winning and one of with losing.
I never lose, man.
You never lose? Oh,
Never
that's an
lose.
issue. All right. So yeah, Miko, well, we can make a bet. I bet everyone will. If everyone starts playing this style, I want to see how many corruptors they make eventually. Okay.
Oh no, I don't think they will because as I say, I mean the patch is coming.
That's true.
I think people will play Ling-Bane definitely.
No, definitely when the patch hits.
With the mind buff, I still need to like figure out how it's gonna look exactly because it might actually get difficult with this style. Just
Well,
to defend the pressure.
I think I'll play a lot of Ling-Bane with a patch. So.
I will play it. I will play it for sure, but we'll see. You might need to play actually Ling-Bane, or maybe
Ling-Bane is super fun.
Or Ling-Bane Corruptor, like straight up, like Dark did play in the past.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah. I mean, it's a similar concept, only he did it with more gas, right?
Yeah, and then I will just and then I will just fly Corruptors into the mines.
They're slower than the.
It's fine. They don't die.
Okay. But you won't kill their army either. You know, they can just run away.
I mean, I will try with both. I will try with Overseer. But as I say, it's just so difficult to practice because nobody plays mines. After they start practicing mines, I will practice the Overseer trick.
Sure. All right, Miko. Love you, buddy.
Okay.
Take care.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Do you have any